Hello, you Wookiee warriors. How's it going? So again, sorry I haven't really been streaming. It's just been really busy this week. And I've been playing Blasphemous. I actually didn't know I had more of the game left than I did initially thought. I could have done some streaming, but if you guys like these videos, I'll definitely do a Blasphemous 2 stream for you guys. So I've looked at the last video and looks like it's got some pretty good views. So I will keep on doing some boss guides. So this one is a two-parter. It's a boss guide slash showcase. So one of the DLCs is actually a free DLC. It's called The Third Sin. Now, what does that include? Well, you do get some cool new verses. So you have this one, the Claria Bitter Blood, which is pretty much like a limited supply of ninja stars. And then this one. I think there's more, but I just haven't found them yet. I just found this one. This comes with the newer DLC, which you do need the new DLC. Actually, I don't know if you really need to buy the DLC. I did because I was kind of stuck because I'm kind of a completionist. I want to get every little goodie, which I actually got quite a bit already. I got all the babies or cherubs. Sorry. I got all the Ask upgrades. I just finished upgrading all of two of my weapons that I use primarily, which is the mace and the sword. I really don't use these very often unless I'm using them for the mirrors, but this is actually my new hammer. I love it, and I'm going to show you guys why I think it's ridiculous. It is so good. I would probably use this more than a hammer, be honest. I feel like it does way more damage, not just because of just because it impacts, but if you think about it, you'll see what I'm talking about. It actually does multiple hits than just one hit. So it is a really nasty weapon. You also, now, one of the things that I love this weapon the most is it reminds me of Castlevania. And I think that's where the Three Sins DLC came from. I think it was heavily inspired by Castlevania. And if you look at this whip, it acts very similar to Castlevania whip. Anyway, so a good way I'm going to show you guys, showcase it, is I'm going to just go ahead and defeat Sinodo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Two things. So I kind of redid my. So you won't have access with this, but this one has me to do with the whip. This one gives me more. So kind of like how the blood effect. Although I don't have to push any special buttons and remember all that, and it just automatically goes. So that's another feature I really like about the chain whip. 5% more when you strike an enemy. 10% damage on all weapons. 10% crit. Well, technically 20% total. So I actually have 30% critical damage, critical chance. Automatically replenishes my magic. I'm going to call that. I think it's called favor, but I'm going to call it magic. And 25% less when I use the favor, one of the chants. Now, what I'm going to use is I actually stumbled across this. because I was really struggling with the boss fight, and I actually looked it up and saw what this person was doing, and I'm like, oh, let me try this. And I actually had to complete a whole quest line just to get it. So I'll tell you guys how to get it. Essentially, what this is, and it is ridiculous. It'll stop time for 30 seconds, for a few seconds. So I think it's like 5 seconds, but trust me, it might as well be 5 minutes to the boss. So what you're gonna need to do is you'll come across the very first of these letters. You got to open it up, read it, and it'll tell you where to go. So you kind of have to go into certain locations to acquire it. Once you get to the final one, it'll tell you that to kind of take like a bit of faith, and you do, and then you get the chant. Now, the boss fight is very straightforward. Actually, it reminds me a lot of from Blasphemous 1. I think there was a golden head that did a lot of projectile damage. Oh, I also probably should equip some more resistance. So hang on. You're going to be dealing with primarily fire and miasma. So you want to make sure you have a good fire and miasma resistance. So what I'm going to do is put my 3 miasma. Now, and I'm probably going to get rid of my mystical because I don't think he does anything that's really mystical. But let's just keep it like this. Got some good resistances. So, as I said, I really talk about the bosses before I go in because sometimes I can't talk when I'm in the boss fight. Now, he is pretty much a straightforward boss. He has it looks like centipedes that will sprout out from the ground, and those will do your miasma damage. Second, he has fireballs, which he will either shoot him kind of like a A at you, where you can stay right in the middle. That's actually where your gravy spot is. You want to stay pretty much in the middle for the most of the fight. The only time you ever want to really get out of the middle and just kind of try to dodge is either A, when he does the miasma, but I have a tendency of just kind of taking the damage and just kind of keeping the damage rolling going, and then I'll heal up. Because I usually used up about maybe, 3, maybe 4 flasks in this fight. I hate when that happens. I'm talking and my body needs to do a stretch. And you'll have an opportunity to heal. Now, the fireball attacks, he'll either do kind of like a crisscross pattern, or he'll do an A. Just without the bar. And then the one part where it's gonna hurt and it's very hard to dodge, like I can't properly dodge him properly because I can't find that good sweet spot, is when he does kind of like this spiral orbs that goes around. That's where you're probably going to end up using a lot of your healing, at least in my opinion. There's kind of, I can't figure it out, but it's how I got through the boss, and I just did a second run just to kind of test out the whip. Now, you may not have the whip right away, because you actually can get access to the DLC fairly early on. Like you have to go down here to where you get your health upgrades. I think it's like right below her, or like right here. No, like right here, I think is where you get the lamp. And then when you progress all the way over here to the Choir of Thorns, you want to go all the way down here, and there will be a save point right here. And then you go out, and there'll be these like a chariot waiting for you, and it'll take you over to the DLC. And if you see, as you can see, I've explored pretty thoroughly DLC already. I pretty much, there's a new upgrade material or upgrade marks, I should say, for you. You're gonna get marks of, please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, Barbario. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not the best at pronunciation, but pretty much it'll be only marks strictly for your new whip. So you can't, like, say if you went in there and you had like 10 marks you can earn, you only had 10 marks, you had about 20 more or so you could earn, or like 4, whatever. You couldn't do that. You couldn't use those marks. You only can use them on the base game. I have not played. I'm just in the process of going through Mea Culpa, so I cannot tell you what the upgrade material will be for the new weapon, because I did, when I looked at my save file, there's a new sword, it looks like. So I'll have to tell you guys about that later. But anyway, let's get on to the boss fight. Pretty much all you're gonna do for that, pretty much the whole fight is just this. Oops. You guys will see. So here he goes, starts right off the bat. Oh, and you do get yourself a little companion, but that one is actually pretty useless. I like my companion Jack. So here you go. See what I'm talking about? He does like this. Now I'm gonna pop it. Oh, I popped it wrong. So kind of just dodge around when this stuff happens. And I'm already kind of tanking on this a little bit. Right here, you're perfect. Pop another one. And done. You can practically skip the second phase of the fight, which he pretty much, what he basically does is he puts a fire down below, and you have to kind of navigate around with the hooks. And to be honest, it's a little bit more irritating, but there you go. And as I said, I did like 4 hit flasks. I could have healed again if I wanted to. And I love this whip. I really do. I mean, no, I don't want to do that again. See, I don't even have to push the button. It automatically just pops in. So pretty much, as you guys saw, there's not much other than of the strat than just be careful, I should say, because I wasn't very careful in this one, because I should have not popped it that early. When he did the IS one, he should wait till they spread out a little bit and you have that little space, and you can just pop. Like I said, 5 seconds is like 10 minutes for this guy, because you're going to do so much damage. Would I recommend this? Going into the DLC and getting this? Absolutely. It is absolutely devastating weapon. I definitely love using this more than I do the hammer. I would love to go and experiment with it more. Like the very first boss right here, these two, I'm trying to do this strat where you guys should be able, see, about this point, up to this point, you should be able to have, at least I was able to, you should be able to get all the way over to the Choir of Thorns at this point, and you'll be able to dip into the DLC. And the DLC boss is very, very challenging. She got me swearing throughout my whole boss fight. Mainly because of how fast she goes and how much things you got to be aware of. But you know, it's like once you get the track of it, like it's not so bad. Like we know where your windows are to attack. It's not so bad. But this guy, I found, like, he is very easy. All there really is just a lot of projectiles you got to figure out and dodge. I would recommend getting that. Definitely, if you have the capability, go and grab the time stopper. I'm going to call it that, because the time stopper is just your godsend when it comes to a lot of these fights. This is my second time actually using this, because the first time I used it was on this fight, and this was my first time actually attempting this and seeing how this would work. But on later fights, on earlier fights, I'm not going to use the whip. I'm going to show you guys how to do it with your base weapons up until I think about here. Because I don't know. Because I was able to get through Choir of Thorns, and I was able to get to this, because this is all the way up here. Like I said, I just started kind of exploring this part too. I mean, I think my video is still like only a couple minutes. But this was kind of like a two-part, showing you guys how to beat the boss, showing you guys the devastating power of this weapon. And I also have one that actually lets me keep this longer. Oh, no, that's part of my abilities. I actually get to keep it longer. Yeah. So if you max out, I think it's on the second tree maybe. Increases the fire damage, increases base damage. No, it might be on the third one. Gain extra favor by hitting enemies with this weapon. Yep, increases the holy damage, increases the power. Well, it might be on one of these. Increases the damage output for that. I know there was something that lets me keep it longer. I just don't remember where. It wasn't on my beads either. But anyway, guys, if you guys really definitely still like these videos, I will definitely keep on doing them. I will definitely, just like with this boss fight, this one was actually took me hours to beat this guy. And like I said, I generally just kind of picked up Blasphemous again and started playing it because I just kind of wanted to beat it and move on to the next. But this boss literally took me hours. Like, I probably got home about 10 o'clock. I was exploring the area. Right, no, it was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And then I got to this fight. And the first indications I had of this, and I think I said in my last video, is he's the pursuer. If you play Dark Souls 2, the first time you actually introduce the pursuer, he can kill you. or you can hide from him and you can fight him, but you still got to fight him as a boss. You fight this guy and then he takes off and then you have to fight him again. So he is definitely in the boss fight. He is definitely not the easiest guy to compare with, because it's at first it's very overwhelming because of the sheer amount of ads you have to deal with. I mean, I think he maxes out at 6, but still trying to jump off over all of, I think it's like 4. Is it 4 or 6? I can't remember right now. But you still have to try to jump over all of that. You have to parry off his attacks, and you have to worry about the spears and jump over that. So it gets very irritating very quickly. But once you figure all this stuff out, you can definitely beat. Betrayal of the Endless. I don't remember. Oh, dude, I hated this guy. He was a pain. I don't remember what this guy did. I think this was the S-Stock lady. Yeah. Oh my gosh, she took forever. Once you figured this guy out, he was actually not too bad, really. This one was actually very similar to this one, except the boss fight kind of reminds me of a boss, and I believe it was like the Messenger, where she has kind of like a hover overhead, and she kind of just goes like full on Kamehameha down on you. You do have to. There is like a saving grace. There is like. Now they get smaller. Like the first phase, it's pretty long, but after like half your health, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. I'll definitely showcase this one too. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm definitely planning. I definitely want to do more boss guides. This is a really good practice for me because I definitely been wanting to get into boss guides. I really want to make some good ones for you guys. And that way, explains the video, explains why how to beat the boss, what to run, what to do, how to do the mechanic. I mean, I did it without the time stopper, to be honest. I mean, you can do it. I just found out about the time stopper that after I beat him, so I kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I'll show you guys this. But the concept is still the same. It's just you dodge everything. Like the miasma, you just want to. I don't see any good way of dodging it, to be honest. So I just kind of tank with the damage, and I just seal up afterwards. And I just keep on doing as much damage as I can. The fireballs, it's a mixed bag. You saw you'll have kind of like, well, it's not crisscross, but it's more like they appear randomly around him. So you have to kind of dodge those. In my opinion, if you're doing this without the time stopper, the best places to attack is when he is doing like the A. You saw, like I'm talking about the A fire blast. And just kind of boom, 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 boom. And then kind of how to get through those balls is just, I wasn't paying attention to that as much. I shouldn't say fireballs, but the fire pillars. So you just kind of dash through them. I feel that the only part he really does a lot more damage is when he does those orbs. That part, I would say, focus primarily on dodging as best you can. Well, heal up after it's done. Go back in, get to center. Boom, 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 boom. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I like the whip, because I don't think you can just sit there with this. No. I mean, you can sit there and go like this with it. Or you can go with the... Oops. I would say the two weapons I would go with if you have the chain whip is go with the chain whip or the sword, because you'll have plenty enough reach with the sword to get at his head. You don't even have to jump, because that's another thing I've seen people do is they just go and to be honest, doing it that way, you're just opening yourself up. Just go bump, 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 and dodge what you can. Bump, 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 bump. And he'll go down, and I think there's like 3-4 minutes if you do it right. But anyway, that's the end of this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying these. I do plan on making more of these. Stay popular. And I will catch you guys on the... Oh, before I forget, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you like this content, if you like the videos, if you like the streams, in general, just in general, you guys like my content, and you guys want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until our next adventure, I'll see you guys then.